climbing a mountain by rolling dice. It's pretty exciting. Check it out in Kylie's Pick of the Week. Hey everyone, I'm Kylie, this is Games Unlimited, and this weekend I played one game, but I played it at least 10 times. That game is Trek 12. This is a game about mountain climbing, but it's a roll and write, and it's done something that I haven't seen done super well yet, which is fusing a classic roll and write that you can just pick up and play with as many players as you want, with something that has a little bit more meat, a little bit more substance, a little bit of a campaign to it. So let's talk about how this works. First off, it's a very standard feeling roll and write. You're trying to climb a mountain. You're doing that by mapping areas of the mountain and by laying down guidelines to help people go up the mountain. Now, your map is going to have a bunch of circles on it. It's going to have 19 circles, and you need to fill in numbers. You're going to roll 2 dice, you're going to choose a number, you're going to put it in one of the circles. First die you roll, you can put it in any circle. After that, everything has to be in an adjacent circle. Now, the way that you're going to score points and actually prevent yourself from losing points is you need to have numbers in sequence next to each other. So if I put a 5 down and then I use a 6, I can put the 6 next to that 5, draw a little line, that's a guideline. If I later on roll a 7, I can put the 7 next to the 6 and attach it. So now I have 5, 6, 7. Then you can start going down. If you get a 4, attach it to the 5, etc. So making these big, long guidelines is great because they get you points. A, your longest set of guides is going to give you points depending on how large it is. And B, you get points based on the largest number in that set. So let's say I've got a 9 up there. I'm going to get 9 points plus 1 point for every other number in that sequence. So if I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, I would get the 9 points plus a point for the 6 and the 7 and the 8. That would get me up to 12 points. So obviously higher numbers are better, right? And making these long strings isn't going to get you as many points as a lot of smaller strings, but I mentioned you get that bonus for having a long string. The second thing is mapping an area. You do that by having identical numbers next to each other. So I got that 9 there and I put another 9 next to it, boom, I've mapped that area. Again, the largest mapped area you have contiguous, so have a bunch of 9s all next to each other, is going to get you bonus points. But also, you're going to get points equal to the number, so 9 plus 1 for every other one in that mapped area. So you can see there's a bit of a push and pull between making long, big sets because they're going to get you those bonus points, but they're not quite going to give you as many points for the set itself. Now, the way you choose numbers, this is the part that's really cool and innovative. So you got 2 6-sided dice. There's a plain 6-sided with 1 to 6 on it, and there's another 6-sided that has 0 to 5. So those are both going to be rolled, and you're going to have your choice. You can use the highest of the 2 numbers, or you can use the lowest of the 2 numbers. You can add them together. You can subtract them, obviously not using negative numbers. You can multiply them, so that's how you get some of the high numbers. Although you are limited to a max of 12, so you can't go above 12. 12 is the highest number you can put in any circle. So you've got a lot of options on what to do with these dice, but each option can only be used 4 times. So let's say I want that 9, I get a 5 and a 4. Well, I can't multiply it because that would be 20 and that's not allowed. But I want a high number, so I'm going to go ahead and use addition. So I put the 9 down there, and then I X off one of the boxes I have next to the plus, and I only get to use 3 more pluses. Once you've used all your pluses, you're limited. And I mentioned that there are 19 circles. Each of these ways of doing things you only get to use 4 times. So there's only 20 different ways that you can, or 20 different boxes you can check off. So towards the end, when you're really trying to fill in that last thing, you're going to feel the tension. You're going to feel hamstrung a little bit because all I have left is 2 minuses and a multiply or something like that. So you're planning that out as you go along. A great 15-minute quick roll and write in the classic sense, but the game also has a sort of mini campaign mode. So you can just play one map, that's fine. And there are 3 maps initially in the box, or you can play a set of all 3. And when you do that, you actually get upgrades during the game. So if you make areas of 0s and 1s that aren't worth a lot of points, you're going to get a piece of equipment. There's a tableau out there. You can take a climbing rope that might let you make a guideline skipping one of them. It doesn't have to be right next to it. Or a bottle of schnapps, which lets you re-roll the dice just for yourself to maybe get a better number. So you'll pick up some of these things, and at the end of a mountain, if you haven't used them, you can trade them in to get 3 points. or keep them for the next mountain. So you've actually got a little bit of things persisting from mountain to mountain. Because ultimately, yes, you're trying to win each mountain, but you get reputation points based on the difficulty of the mountain, whether you summited, whether you reached a certain threshold of points, and whether you got the highest score. You're going to get these reputation points, and after 3 mountains, you see which player has the most reputation points. And that whole thing takes, under an hour. It's pretty quick to do something like that. So if you want a little bit more meatiness to the game, you can play these 3 consecutively. Plus, the game is full of things to unlock. So that's a whole other aspect of the game. There's missions that you can do. If you can get a complete set of 5 of the same number together, exactly 5, then you get to unlock an envelope. You might get new mountains to climb. You might get new special abilities. I'm not spoiling too much, but you'll get guides. The person that unlocks it gets a guide that only they can use, gives them a special ability. But if anyone else achieves that, getting all 5 of the same together, they can steal the guide from a player. So there's really cool stuff. We've got an expansion in stock. This is a brick and mortar exclusive, actually, that adds even more mountains, some new things to the game. I had a blast. I mentioned I played this all weekend long. It's just got a depth to it that I haven't seen in a lot of roll and writes. After your first couple games, you start to realize how important those high numbers are, but how difficult they are to get because you have a limited number of multiplications. You're not going to get a 12 with a plus because the highest number on one die is a 5, the highest on the other is a 6. So you really have to think ahead. Great game, a lot of good flavor to it. I highly recommend my pick of the week, Trek 12 Himalaya. Come on down to Games Unlimited. Let us show you a copy. Pick one up, take it home, and unbox some fun.